Okay, so Makhachev Volk 2 is happening.
He cuts him behind the head. That's it.
So we're gonna break down one. I have watched this before, but I got punched in the head for a living, so I don't really remember what happened. Yeah, let's check it out. All right, look at how jacked this dude is. Just a massive dude. Makhachev is so big for 55. Volk is like maybe a little big for feather, but he's not really all that big. Makhachev is swole. Okay, so right away, I'm seeing some weirdness here. Look at this elbow position that Volk has. Oh, let's just go back. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that liver kick ability. Any southpaw that's watching this video is just salivating because southpaws love the liver kick. And that thing, you could drive a truck through that hole. You could kick that all night and not hit the elbow. I don't know why Islam, for what I remember, I don't think he hit a whole bunch of body kicks. I think you should body kick this man, make him choose in between the body kick and the head kick because that arm is positioned to block neither. Maybe he perceives it really quickly and he's able to adjust. I would still attempt it. Islam feinting the takedown. Oh, there we go. Body kick. Splits the jab with the right hand of the body. Yeah, and then already trying to shift into ortho or closed stance for a sec. That lead right hook. There, closed stance. Back to open stance. The headline of Volk is interesting to me. Seems to like keep his head a little bit more over here. Makes sense if you're fighting a righty as a righty, but if you're fighting a lefty as a righty and you do this, you're really putting your head in a bad spot, right? Like you're just a little closer to their left hand, a little closer to their left kick. Everybody knows circle away from the power, but most people neglect to think about where their stance is organized. Where their skeleton's organized. They just think about where their feet are going. They don't think about where do you put your head? Where do you move your shoulders? Where should your hands be? And Volk seems to understand the hand part of it, right? Like he's got a good hand fight here. He's always kind of floating that front hand out to deal with Makhachev's right hook. Typical way we do it in open stance. That was a nice left hand. Okay, see, he's reaching out to grab for Islam's right hand. At the same time, he's shifting his stance from righty to lefty, bringing them to closed stance lefty, and he does so while throwing his now lead hook, right, his right hook. And then, bang, left hand goes right down the center, catches Makhachev square, and gets him reeling back. But it's a pretty cool little shift he's using. Hand fight, and then step in with that back foot, bring that back hand as a lead. Good for a shorter guy. It allows you to cover that distance really quickly. Okay, and he's trying it again. See, maybe going to the well a little too often with it. I wouldn't repeat the same shift twice in a row, and he does so again and goes reeling. Look at that. Okay, so shift one in this closed southie, and then look, shift two, back into ortho. Now he's got the foot line. Islam reaches out with that front hand, grabs his head. He doesn't have the foot line here, but I think he's gonna step back into space here. And because of that forward momentum that you're generating by switching your stance, you're moving really quickly, but you're not super connected to the ground. It's easy for Islam to like parry him past and throw him into what could be something nasty. Look at that. Like if Islam had thrown the left head kick here, we would not be talking about how good Volk is. We would not be seeing a round two. This could have been over in round one. Look at that head kick Islam did not throw. Too bad. Split second timing, right? Split second timing. If he would have been on right there, over. Man, that backhand of Volk's is asking for head kicks. I think Volk working with Craig Jones played a huge part here. Craig is such a smart dude. Right, shout outs to B team, Plan B. Super smart dude with jiu-jitsu, and he's really, really creative and almost running the game now for jiu-jitsu out of that squad, B team. Ooh, and then Volk goes down. Again, same shift. Cover the hand, shift into southpaw, lead right hook. Islam plants and fires back. Bang, left hand. Right there, right there. And then almost a head kick after too. Hit a little high on the shin. That was a nicely timed knee. The one thing about the guys from the Eagle Squad, right, Khabib and Islam, their knees, I guess, are kind of well timed. Like that was well timed, but just no hip in it. There's no hip. It's just all like a hip flexor action cardio kickboxing knee. So I feel like these guys should go to Thailand a little bit and learn some solid knees. Imagine Islam Makhachev with like a savage Thai clinch, like a really highly developed Thai clinch. Okay, so usually you see fighters that get attacked on the fence. With grappling, they will choose to put one shoulder or the other shoulder on the wall. This is one of the first fights where I'm seeing him elect to face the wall a lot more. I have one of my fighters, Varun Sunder, who's been doing this to me as well, and it is somewhat frustrating. It makes it much more difficult to take them down because normally you would just block the front of their leg and drive forward and you can get them to go at least down to their hands, where now you can't because you're trying to drive them forward into what? The wall? Like it's really difficult. Yeah, like normally Islam will just drag you forward here, but he can't. You can't drag him forward. Yeah, that was smart, right? Big sidestep. So then that leg moves out. He's able to block it, put a block there with his leg, and then drag him over that block sideways, right? Because he can't just block it, block the front of it, and make him go forwards, which is the easiest thing to do in this position. So he's got to bring him sideways. Volk's ready for that, though. Yeah, and does like some sort of a hip heist type attack, right? Just goes with the pressure, keeps his head high. Still, though, Islam's able to connect to a leg ride and then get all the way to a back body triangle. But Volk's still like on top, right? Like you're on this, you got the guy's back, which is awesome, but you're being pressed into the wall and you're carrying the other guy's weight. Now, if you did even get a bite on the chin, if it wasn't perfect, right, you have nowhere to arch to. You can't like arch back. It's a problem, man. Super annoying. Volk's not letting him under or around. He's not letting him get under the chin, but you don't need to be under the chin, right? You just need to be around the face, right? So he's turning his head sideways here. Seems like it really sucks. My neck would be not having a good day at all. He's still able to weather the storm and not die, which allows him to run out the rest of the clock, get up and be somewhat victorious because that was the worst position Islam could put you in almost. He got to your back. And you didn't die. It was a bit threatening, but not really. You were able to stay really safe. Definitely a moral victory for him. Yeah, you switch stance, but he keeps doing that same shift. You got to use different shifts. You got to vary your offense. You got to vary your defense. All of striking, at least as far as I can understand, is pattern recognition, right? If I can understand where you're going, then I can understand how to kill you when you go there. If the pattern is very large, say you like to shift forward, okay, well, work between like at least 3 different shifts, so it's harder for the person to recognize it. The first time will work, right? Or the second time will work, but as you continue to use that same movement, the person's gonna start reading it and then planning for it, and then it's bad time. Again, right? And that time it worked. I'm not saying you're not going to be successful ever doing the same thing over and over again, but when you're that one time you're not successful, makes it worthwhile to change your strategy up a little bit. One shift here into another shift, and it was that same way of doing it, right? And he ends up coming upstairs, it looks like with a left hook that looks like it lands. Makhachev drops down, grabs a single. But I feel like, man, you're really, really hyper committed. That was cool little exchange there. What's he got here? He gets around the corner. See this shoulder here? Now Volk's getting around that corner. Islam wants his head deeply connected to Volk's hip. The more Volk can increase the amount of space in between Islam's head and his hip, the closer he gets to actually Islam's back. So it looks like he's trying to really get around the corner here, but Islam is able to just step over with that leg, where Volk here looks like he has an opportunity to go to an Ashi and attack the leg lock, but will he? No, he'll lose the butterfly hook and revert to wrestling. Coming up. I think I would have used guard there, but it's not the worst idea. The problem is here he's turning away from him. This exposes his back to Islam a lot. I wouldn't elect to expose my back to Islam personally, but I know Craig Jones feels a little differently. See, and he does get back to his feet. Why didn't Islam right here begin to pressure into him and drive him back to his hands? It doesn't look like he's actually got his hands connected. Maybe he doesn't. Which, ooh, that I don't like. Okay, so here he's got outside leg position, right, on Volk, and he's trying to drag him sideways. He doesn't have a very deep outside leg position, and he has to go sideways instead of forward, so it's much more difficult than it normally would be. You can see he's exerting a decent amount of force here. And then he takes it out because it looks like he needs more juice. He takes his leg out. Maybe Volk slipped it. I don't know. But it looks like he's really going down before Volk is going down. See how Volk's like leaning forward like that? He's going to end up with his head higher than Islam. This is something I really try to avoid. I try to end up to avoid like dragging a guy down. I feel like it's like you're begging him to come down, like, oh, please come down here. It's like really, really committed. If he regains his balance here, like Islam is going to be on the bottom. I feel like if he was a little higher up the chain, if he was a little higher up towards Volk's head with his head and hips, it would be a lot more dominant here and a lot easier to make sure you end up on top. Instead of this, like that's not ideal. You got his back, but you show this to a kid and ask them who's winning, they're going to say the guy that's got his head higher up, right? And there's something really strong there that a lot of people don't address. That height is super important. And boom, Volk is able to hip heist because of it, right? And he's just going to get back up here. Almost thought about trying to go to his back, bailed out, and then almost hit a knee on the exit. Boom, thought about it. Ooh, just missed. Islam's just waiting to set up. Volk's like, nope, I'm out. It's way more dangerous to be grappling with Islam than it is to be striking with him. Okay, so they just talked about no jabs landing for Volkanovski. It's open stance. If you try to jab a southpaw and actually land the jab, you're going to get split with the left hand. Okay, if you're a southpaw and you're trying to jab a righty and really land the jab, you're going to get split with the right hand. I'm not saying never jab, but it's not a very effective punch, right? So the announcers should know this. That was a nice little left hand. What was that countering? Oh yeah, hand fight, left hand to the body. Islam just comes right back with that straight left hand, right on the button. Right on the button. Oh, again. Good knee timing, man. But not a whole lot of hip in it. There's a little bit of hip in this one. This is definitely better than Khabib's knees. Oh, nice little right hook too. Is Islam really strong? I'm sure he's strong in the Thai clinch, but I haven't seen him do a whole bunch of Thai clinch in fights. Maybe he's done it recently and I like missed them or something, which is likely, but it's not something that I've seen heavily in his game. I feel like he could have a fantastic Thai clinch. I don't think that Thai clinch is all that effective if your back is on the wall. Like, the guy's gonna connect into a body lock. He's gonna be able to smash in through it or get under it a little bit. Like, maybe if their back is on the wall. Yeah, good moral victory here for Volk, able to turn it around there. But he definitely didn't win that round. If he won round one, which I don't think he did, it would be 1-1. I believe it's 2-0 here for Islam. He's strong once he gets on top of you. I felt that as well when I was locked up with Islam in the clinch. I didn't feel that he was that strong, honestly. The one clinch exchange that we had, I easily won it. When he got into my leg, I also didn't feel anything legendary, although he was able to get me to my butt. But strength-wise, I didn't feel anything. I feel like it was his skills that were able to get me down to that that butt scoot type position. Once he got on top of me, he smashed through my butterfly hook and like kind of like a dope mount or twisted mount type situation. Three-quarter mount, quarter guard, whatever type situation that happened after. He felt super strong as soon as he got on top of me. As soon as his weight went like this, okay, over top of me, crazy strong. But when we were standing up on the wall, I didn't feel really anything for strength-wise. Okay, watch how Volk ducks his head out of this clinch. Don't ever do this, okay? If you're watching this and you fight, don't ever duck out of a clinch like this. You won't get a second shot at it. Oh man, you're in a tie clinch and you bring your head down to exit. Oh man, yeah, don't do that twice. Don't do it once, really. Nice body kick. Man, every body kick he's thrown has landed. See, and this is why I mean that Makhachev is he's a good striker, but he's not a great striker. This is not a very good defensive strategy, in my opinion. I feel like it's easy to get around. There are glaring holes in it. This is like a one-size-fits-all type striking defense. I'm not trying to perceive what's coming. I'm not trying to block a specific punch with a specific defense. I am just going to put both my hands up and hope for the best. I don't know what he's throwing, but this will hopefully deal with it. And then you also have no proper weight loaded for counters. Each defense should load the offense that follows it, and they should all be planned. Like, if I'm fighting in an open stance, I will deal with my opponent's cross in a very specific way. I will deal with their jab in a specific way, with their hook in a specific way. Again, with that hand fight shift, man, he needs to figure out new ways of shifting. There's so many. No hand fight, just shift naked. Not a good idea. Oh, what was that? Okay, so he's got a tie clinch now, or some sort of a tie clinch, right? He's got like the head, and then he's got the underhook. He's using a finger roll grip or an S grip. He seems like he gets a little trip here. It might have been a foot sweep. Yeah, that's a foot sweep. Ashibarai or something like that. Islam's in on the, looks like almost a double, single, and then the other hand's like by the hip. Volk's able to get that underhook on the backside, his back leg, and then just lift. Islam has to try to scoot around the corner. Oh, connects to the double on the other side. Yeah, starts elevating, turning. Volk's doing a good job on the body lock of like annoying him with that forearm inside. And back up. It seems like he's getting a little bit more confident in the clinches too. He's got good position. Like if you look at Volk's position here, you see a lot of MMA fighters fail at this. He's a very straight structure, right? Like think of that word, the phrase pillar of strength. You don't want to be like a shape that looks like this. Don't be like this. Be like Volk. Good break off and exit shots. Bang, yes. See, and this is what I'm talking about. The position of Volk's head when he's approaching here is just asking to get hit with a left hand. He's like way on the inside. You want to keep your head lined up with the opponent's front shoulder, not with their back shoulder. Easy way of thinking about it. And he does not do that. Bang, and walks right into a naked left hand. This is something here that I give my fighters shit about a lot. If you watch Islam's next steps, like Volk's kind of pressing forward, Islam's kind of backing up, which that's not a horrible thing. It's the fact that he's backing up slowly, but in a straight line, okay? Do not walk backwards. You're just going couple inches, and then all of a sudden, your back is on the fence. Just take those little couple inches in steps and move left or right. Instead of backwards, just move left or right. Doesn't really matter which direction. You can move left or right and backwards. It's fine. Yeah, Islam definitely slowing down a little bit. Feel like he's getting tired. I don't think he has good striking cardio. Ooh, what was that? Was that a low kick that dropped him? Yeah. He did Islam dirty on that. right? It's like a left hand into like a sweep. I don't know what it's called. It exists in karate and Muay Thai, I believe. Doesn't take him down for long, but still drops him. Yeah, being a little guy and fighting a bigger guy starts to pay dividends the longer the fight goes, right? You're more mobile. Your body is way better at with sustaining that high level of output and volume. You just don't have as many muscles to run. You don't need as much air into those muscles, right? So it's just going to be easier. Just drops, right? Because Volk is shifting in with that hook so often, right, that Islam's now expecting it. And he doesn't even shoot here. He literally just drops straight down. He doesn't try to penetrate at all. He knows that Volk's going to come to him. So he just drops straight down and goes to the double. And then right away, like going to that cartwheel double towards his own head. Looks like Volk is electing to hit the belly whizzer and push the head down and try to hip heist that leg out. Yeah. Stays facing away from the head. I always teach my fighters to face towards the head. I feel like you risk exposing your back far more. Although I can guarantee this came from Craig Jones. Craig thinks it's smart to put both your hands on the ground and stand up. I really don't know if that's a good idea. Like, would you do that to Damian Maia? Right? Like, Volk is down for this to happen. He's down to allow the person behind him and turtle. And then hope that he can get up before Islam is able to place hooks in and keep him down. And yeah, crawling to the fence. Yeah, gets to the hooks, but then Volk just goes belly up, right? Goes belly up, has his hand on his face so he can't punch the choke through, and is going to stay in that position if necessary. But it's really hard for Islam to choke because now he's belly up and his back on the fence. It's like, who's stuck in the corner here? Islam is stuck in the corner, right? He's in an offensive position, but he's in probably one of the worst ways to organize this offensive position because he's carrying all the dude's weight trapped in the corner, unable to extend and really use his posterior chain to open him up for the choke. Trying to get his back to the ground. Yeah, he's trying to beat the head and get his head on the ground, and then his back will be able to get to the ground. Yeah, and it's 2.5 minutes. You're giving him a lot of ride time. Regardless of him being able to do no damage, you're still losing. Volk is still losing the round. I'm annoyed for Islam. This is such an annoying position. It's difficult because the person has more defensive weapons than you have offensive weapons. You have two hands. They have two hands and their chin, right? That's 3 tools they can use for defense. You only have 2 tools you can use for offense. It's difficult to win the hand fight, especially with MMA gloves on. Really hard to get under the neck. And Volk doesn't even have a neck. Look at this guy. He's got no neck, man. Like that. I got a little trick that I use to do damage from this position. But I'm not going to tell you. Ryan Hall showed me. Super sick. Maybe if you get my wrestler course, I'll show you. Maybe. If you guys comment about it, then I'll show it in the wrestler course. Like, yeah, okay, you can like yell all you want. You're still losing the round. And now you need a knockout or a sub, right? You're not going to sub them. So now you need a knockout, right? That's 4-1. No, 3-1, sorry. I'm not the greatest at math. It's that 2 downstairs. Ooh, man. See, as the fight progresses, if you keep doing the same thing over and over, your opponent starts reading it, right? He's shifting in here with that 4 again, or 3 from the front. He's going to shift forward. Boom. Shifts forward to throw that hook, and Islam senses it. Senses it last round too. That's how he hit that takedown, right? And then this time it was the knee. Again, like he doesn't have too many other strategies other than shifting from in that specific way. Nice knee. Yeah, those knees are starting to land. Boom. Boom, 2 of them. Okay, things to not do. If a person grabs your head with a tie clinch, do not throw punches at them. Okay, if the person is way out of position and their head is way up on a stick or something, okay, then it makes a little bit of sense. You saw this Anderson Silva and Weidman. Okay, you saw that, so I'm sure somebody was going to say that. It does, you can hurt somebody with your hands when they tie clinch you, but it's risk to reward, right? And I don't think it's ever a great idea to counter tie clinch with punches. Deal with the clinch and the knees and elbows that are incoming, then start striking. Now Volk's trying to kick with him because he needs to do something at that range other than just shift, right? And again, just goes back to the shifting, gets body locked. Oh, under, body lock. He doesn't really change the pattern. It's the same pattern over and over and over again. That's the issue. Yeah, disconnects from clinches off really well. I believe that Islam's clinch is a little bit underrated though, or overrated. Just from feeling it, I don't think it's as good as people think it is. I think personally that it's just a massive deficiency in most people's games. Most people suck in the clinch, which is why I worked on it so much and continue to work on it so much. But I don't think it's that Islam is that good in the clinch. I think it's just that everybody else sucks. 3 minutes to go. Nice little check hook to get out. Islam's been using that all night. Every time, and he's defending it regardless, right? But every time now that Volk is hitting that shift to come in, Islam is countering it with either a takedown or a knee. Yeah, Volk's not letting him turn the corner. See how he's got that ankle? Now Islam can't get around that corner towards his back and start to build his base up. Oh, yeah, around that corner, boy. Gets cut off though. Up to the single, withdraws his leg. Man, Volk's takedown D is legit. And then look at all that backward movement. Backward movement in a straight line by Islam. He does that way too much. Yeah, and then Volk is winning the clinch exchanges. Like, if it's a body lock clinch, oh, man, gets some pinwheel in a bit. Here, Islam's really good, though. When he turns sideways like that with that overhook, oh, man, gets him down to his hands. Islam tries to counter with the whizzer. Volk really does well at the end of the rounds. Oh, nice left hand. Ooh, hey. Yeah, it looked like Islam was trying to change level or something when he got hit with that left hand. And then dives for the legs after. Minute left, Islam on the bottom. Islam has a guard though. Like, this isn't well known because most people don't really see the guy on the bottom. In his earlier fights, there's some footage of him on his back, and he has a nasty triangle game. But this is pretty late though to be getting subs like that. It's definitely not very easy to do. You can see it looks like he's kind of setting up a triangle here, pushing that wrist down. Although grabbing the wrist is very dangerous in MMA. Although it can be extremely useful in jiu-jitsu, when you translate to MMA, it just opens you up for an elbow. And this is him stealing the round. I feel like Islam won the first half of that round, and then Volk won the second half. So Volk's winning this round, right? So that's 2 now, right? And then you just need one judge to make one bad call. And those of you that watch MMA often, which is probably all of you, know how badly how badly judging can go. It can be really, really bad. It's easy for a judge to make a bad decision on a round, right? So that's a razor close decision. That, if you're thinking about being in Volk's brain or in Islam's brain, you do not want to lose this round. It could be the round that loses you the fight. Luckily, Islam took it, right? And rightfully so. It was 3 rounds to 2, right? Again, I'm terrible at math. I should be better at math. But 3 rounds to 2. But that last round, and some of the other rounds were close, especially the first round was very close. What if the judges got it wrong? You don't want to just try to stall out the last 20 seconds of the last round. It's nice when the judges get the fights right. It really is. It's really amazing because we work so hard for so long to get to these spots, and then sometimes even when we win, we lose. It can be really disheartening. So kudos to the judges in that situation. That was a fight that I believe happened in Australia, I believe, or New Zealand, which is where Volk is from. And the judges can be swayed very easily with the crowd. Like even when you're looking at Volk on top, and I think it was the fourth round, and he's punching Islam in the face. Maybe it was the third, punching him in the face while Islam's on his back, and the crowd's losing it, right? Like, yeah, okay, the crowd's going nuts, but Volk's still losing, and every judge needs to know that. And it's so easy to just get swayed. They may not even notice it's happening. I feel like that's why we need some sort of record for judges. Like if there's a questionable decision, right? If there's a decision that is deemed questionable, and I'm not sure who would deem it questionable, maybe there should be a board. We should have a record of which judges are making these questionable decisions often. I believe that the scorecards are public, but you can't really, it's not just an easy resource to see how many that same judge got wrong, right? If they had some sort of database like that, I think it would be hugely beneficial, because everybody needs accountability, right? Everybody needs to be accountable for their actions, and these guys have huge amounts of influence and control and very, very little oversight, at least not enough oversight, in my opinion. But yeah, that was a good fight. I'm pretty stoked for this next one. I'm really interested to see if Volk increases his bag of tricks as far as shifting goes, because he's still going to have to cover that gap. He's still going to have to figure out a way to get in, to land those punches that he wants to land. I'm interested to see if Islam is able to make adjustments to get to the back without ending up on the bottom, or get to dominant position and be able to stabilize it and control it without ending up on the bottom. I wonder if Islam will be able to figure out ways to employ ground and pound attacks once he's able to get him down, and also if he's able to figure out ways to deal with that the body lock, the backside body lock defense that Volkanovski had. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys want to see the full unedited version of this that is not going to get cut by YouTube, then join our private community. We got a link down there in the bio, so just click it and check it out. Peace, one love.